when you've had an automobile accident, it's important that you understand what you're dealing with. Sometimes you may think that an automobile accident can be a simple case. There's some property damage, you've been injured, but under further examination, it's one of the more complicated cases you're going to run into. The reason for that is that there's a lot of issues in terms of insurance that you're not going to run into in other situations. You have a liability insurance question where you really want to make sure that you know what liability policies may cover the accident. There may be certain defendants, people that caused the accident, that may have different coverages. The actual person that caused the accident may be liable, but there may be additional parties that are liable also, and they may have additional insurance coverages that you want to look at. In addition to locating the proper parties and their proper insurance, you have to understand that there's health insurance problems. Sometimes you have your own health policy. Sometimes you have health insurance under your automobile policy. And there is always a question as to what covers which and how everything gets set off on a case. So because of all the insurance interplay, the automobile accident really is a very difficult and complicated case, and it really does make sense to have a professional look at it. Another thing about automobile accidents is that when you're injured in an accident like this, it sometimes is very, very difficult to kind of put things in perspective. You've been injured, and people tend to think about what's happening right now, currently, and they don't sometimes think about what's going to happen in the future. Injuries that happen in automobile accidents are a lot of times things that are just going to be with you for a long, long time. And it's important to understand that, in that when you have an automobile accident case, you have to go through the process and make sure that you're doing all the things you should be doing correctly. One of the things that we like to do in handling a case is to get a talk with the client, get to know their side of the story, get to know all the details of the case, get to know all the parties, all the little things that how this accident has affected them. We've been in practice for over 30 years. I myself have been in practice for almost 20 years doing plaintiff's personal injury cases. I am also a board-certified civil trial advocate. In Connecticut, there's less than 1% of the practicing attorneys have a certification, a board certification in civil trial advocacy. The first thing you want to do after you've had an accident is make sure you get checked out by a medical professional and have a very thorough examination. If anything's bothering you, make sure you let the doctor or the medical facility know what's bothering you, and if you've had a prior accident and they ask you about it, you want to let them know that. You want to let them know your entire medical condition and all the things that are bothering you. In terms of treatment as time goes on, you also want to make sure that you're consistent in your treatment, you follow your doctor's orders, and you are just honest and straightforward with the doctor. What will also happen after an accident is that you're going to run into the insurance company. And I talked earlier about how insurance plays such a role in these automobile accidents. Well, you're going to find out very shortly that there's a very experienced person that's going to be calling you, and that person is an insurance adjuster, and their job is to limit their claim. And you're not going to find a nicer person than that adjuster who calls you. But the adjuster has a little different interest than you. The adjuster's interest is to pay you as little as they can on this case, and to also do things that are going to create problems for you in your case. They'll do it very nicely. You're going to find them to be very sincere, but nonetheless, they're going to be looking for things like statements. They're going to be looking for things like authorizations. And what they're going to do with those things are not going to be for your benefit. They're going to be for the benefit of their client, their insured, the person that caused the accident. So what you want to do on that, you really don't want to give a statement to the insurance adjuster. It's only going to help them. I have clients that will give statements, but sometimes they'll say, well, it was a clear case, and, why shouldn't I give a statement? Well, you shouldn't give a statement because you could leave out a detail. You could say something in a statement that just is is not going to help your case. And the insurance adjusters are professionals, and they're going to be asking you questions in the statement that are directed for you to say things that are maybe going to hurt your case at some point in the future. So it just doesn't make sense to give a statement. As far as authorizations go, those are the medical authorizations that the insurance company gives you so they can get all your records. And my feeling on authorizations is that we typically give the insurance company all the records, all your medical records that are related to accidents. We don't advise you give a blank authorization to the insurance company so they can just go rummaging through all of your records, and they will. They will order everything. They will do an exhaustive search. They're very, very good at it. We typically do give authorizations to the insurance company, but it's for things that are related to the case. If you had a prior back injury and you're injured in this case, they're going to be entitled to those records, and we give those to them. But they're not entitled to go through every single thing every time you've ever gone to a doctor or had a cough or cold or anything like that. So with regard to that, it always makes sense not to give the insurance company any of those authorizations. And when you do, make sure an attorney's looked at it and they know the proper scope of the authorization. You want to get to an attorney right away. The reason you do that is because documentation. The attorney's going to know that you have to document certain things. You have to investigate certain things. We may have to take pictures. A lot of times what will happen, it's mysterious when we have an accident and there's a large collision that the insurance company will mysteriously not have the pictures. They didn't take any pictures. But when the impact causes little damage, then they will take the pictures, and you'll have the pictures in there. They usually do make their defense based on photographs. Sometimes in today's society what will happen is that when you have a collision, the way the bumpers are designed now, you can have a very hard collision that can cause a serious injury. But because the bumpers, and if it's a rear-end collision, are designed to withstand the force, there's very little damage. There might be a scratch. There might be a small dent. There might be very little you can see. But yet you have two vehicles that have collided with a lot of energy, and the way the bumper is designed is that it's protecting the bumper, but it's deferring the energy to the occupants in the car. So the car doesn't look like it's had any damage, but the occupants do. The insurance company is going to want to play that off, and they do all the time if there's a photograph of the car that doesn't show much damage. And it's really our job to make sure that the juries understand that this can cause an accident, and these bumpers are designed that way to cause injuries, and they're designed to withstand. Really they're designed to save the bumper at the expense of the people a little bit, because the people still get the same injuries, but the bumpers are saved, and you probably don't have a big repair bill. In closing, the automobile accident is a very difficult case. It's a complicated case, and it's one that you should get some advice on and have an attorney handle it. The insurance company has very experienced adjusters doing all the things they should be doing to handle the case, but they're handling it in their best interest, and you really want an attorney to be looking after your best interest.